Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. Your decisions, my own, but you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you.
So good evening. We are back. We are back for another episode of the real journey of the entrepreneur. I am very grateful that you have taken time out of your busy schedule to join me, Anita Pierce, 11375 business consultancy, mother, and all things right now. But what we are going to really focus in on is having authentic conversations with entrepreneurs such as myself, and for those who have the courage to come on and share their journey. I get excited because everyone that I've interviewed thus far has given me gems to help me to improve my process. I'm 6.5 years in this process, almost 7, but I can tell you that I learned something from everyone who has the courage and the willingness to share. This platform is one where we are focusing on how did we get started? What does that look like? What does that look like for businesses of color, specifically in this climate? We are in a space where we are really attempting to create these dreams. For some of us, there are things that we have to do in order to be able to be successful. But what we have as a common thread between all of us is that we are remaining consistent and that we are going to fight through because there is freedom in entrepreneurship. And so I have the beautiful, good fortune of interviewing another dynamic entrepreneur, Jackie Grandchamps. I am not going to do the long bio because I think that it's important that when you are having a dialogue, you can really have someone describe their story and tell and learn a little bit more as they tell the story. And I sit back and listen as if I was on a couch having a glass of wine and we are talking as if we are like best of friends. So welcome, Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So thank you for being here. I am eager to learn about your journey. So eager. So just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, what type of business that you have at this stage of your life.
Okay. Well, I'm Jackie Grandchamps. I am founder of Cecile's Bath and Body, where we help you live a cleaner, more authentic life. All of my products are handmade, starting from original formulas using raw ingredients. So that means raw shea butter, oils, essential oils, but it also means using raw grains like beans, barley, infusions, and also we specialize in custom work. So we do a wonderful salt blend bar during the holidays, and where you can come and we will actually make your products to your specifications, work with you, and create something special. So right now, I am bootstrapping my business. I have been in business about 8 years. The first time I made something, Bath and Body, was for holiday gifts, and that was in December of 2011. So now we are in 2021, and it's been a long journey. And 2021 has been good to me, I have to say. It takes 10 years to be an overnight success. It is not for the faint of heart, as you say in the intro. It costs a lot of money, and keeping your day job is a good idea.
All right.
So I think
So
that's
you
in
brought
a
up a
nutshell.
couple of terms that I'm not sure that folks are really familiar with. When
Okay.
you say bootstrapping, what does
Yes.
that mean in the world of entrepreneurship? You want to elaborate on that?
Of course. So bootstrapping means that you are literally pulling yourself up by the bootstraps, like they say, is that you are using your own money to build this business. You're doing everything in a very scrappy way. Many times you're not, you see people, let's say a celebrity all of a sudden has a Bath and Body line or cosmetics line. They actually go to a company who creates that stuff for them, and they just put their name and their face on it, and then they promote it, but they're not actually making it themselves. So when you bootstrap, you are doing basically everything by hand and paying for everything out of pocket. So that that new car you were gonna buy, no. Them vacations, no. You shopping at the dollar store, you are that's the life you're living. You're cutting out cable, you're cutting out new clothes, and every all of your disposable income is really going to build this business, and anything that you make from this business is reinvested to keep growing it.
Now, why did you decide to bootstrap versus getting a loan from a bank?
There's a couple reasons. The biggest reason is that my student loans are so heavy that I can't borrow. I have six-figure student loans. I did everything I was supposed to do. I went to school. I got a master's. I started working in corporate America, and student loans, they have kept me from actually building wealth. Actually kept me from buying home, just because they are so high. And so when I went to a bank, and actually more than one person has told me this, a bank won't lend you money unless you're making 100,000 in revenue. And I said, if I was making 100,000 in revenue, I wouldn't need your money, right? So it's kind of this catch 22. So that is really why I wanted to bootstrap. The second reason, though, is that when you take on investors or you take on, people give you money, you become beholden to that, and they become decision makers. And I've seen it where you can lose your business from involving people when it comes to money. They have legal rights to what is yours.
Ain't that something? So you go through all the blood, sweat, and tears, then someone else feel like they can make a decision because they've invested.
Yeah, and it's interesting is that I've gone through some programs, and I've had people tell me, like, be careful the paperwork you sign, be very careful because they can take the company from you. So how much equity you give away.
Wow. So let's thank you for sharing that, because that's a real honest answer about your finances. That's not a conversation that's not always comfortable. So I
Mm,
genuinely appreciate you, being vulnerable and sharing that, because when we are starting businesses, it does require financial resources, specifically if you are a service-based business, but even more so if you have a product, like Jackie does. And a
yeah.
lot of what you describe sounds like it could be eaten. But before we get into your secret sauce, we're not gonna, give away your intellectual property. But what I want to ask is, when you made the decision, to start this business, what was your why and what were your startup costs?
Well, I it's interesting. So as I mentioned, I started making the products because they were Christmas gifts. So I was unemployed. I work in marketing as a profession. And we all know marketing gets cut. Every time it's layoffs, marketing gets cut first. So I was unemployed again, living off unemployment again. And I had a party at my sister's house, and there was going to be, I have a big family, and I had no idea what to make. And I had just come back from the grocery store, and I had 2 boxes of Morton kosher salt. You know, the big blue boxes. I had buy one get one free. I had I had oranges and limes, ginger, rosemary, and I was talking to a friend, like, I have no money, like I can't go to the house empty handed. And he said to me, why don't you make something? I was like, you know what, hold on a minute. So I went to the kitchen. I peeled the rind off of a tangerine. I took some time, and I took a cup of salt, and I put it in my little mini blender. And out came this most incredible smelling concoction. It was so fragrant, so fluffy. And I was like, wow, this is fun. I like it. So I made a whole bunch of different scents, ginger and lime, and fresh ground ginger with lime rinds and juice, and then I made one for acne. I made this one, I made that one. And I went to Target, got some little mason jars and ribbon. And those are my Christmas gifts that year. And my family went nuts. And that was the first time I thought, for the first time, I was like, wow, okay, I could do this. And when I looked at the cost, the Morton box of kosher salt was like $3, buy one, get one free. The food was what I was going to eat anyway. So that was the idea, that I could turn this over with such low startup costs, that I could actually do something. So from that point, it was 2 years before I actually sold to the public. So in that 2 years, I took, maybe about 3 months later, I took classes on how to make soap. That cost me, for private classes, 2 full days was $255. I took a day of soap making, and then I took a day of making body butters and bathing salts. And I purchased a system called Soap Maker 3. That system cost $99. I have purchased it almost 10 years ago. I still use the same system. They continuously update the software. One-time purchase, and I keep all of my recipes there. So I have 10 years of recipes of all different types. I probably have another 25 products in this computer that I've tested and perfected over the years, and they're just waiting to be released. So startup costs are extremely low. If you are on public assistance, if you are using food stamps, you can start a bath and body company.
Let's repeat that, right? Let's
Okay.
repeat that, right? Because a lot of times we have a lot of fears, and we're saying that we can't afford, we can't do.
Yeah.
But real talk, a lot of us started in different entry points, and that you can take advantage of what's out there, right? If you choose to have the courage to invest in yourself.
Yeah. The one thing I would say is that private classes, it's important to take classes with a person face to face, so you can ask questions. Online is not enough. You need someone else to kind of test the sense with you, things like that. And you must have insurance. Do not sell without insurance. That's the number one thing. Insurance costs about, I would say, $550 per year. And that comes with a membership to the Soap Association, Handmaking Association, where you can get additional education. But I think that is the cost. If you want to make soap, I use old pots and pans that I had. Make sure they're stainless steel, but still my grandma's pots, they're leftovers. And we use natural oil, olive oil. You can use shea butter, coconut oil. You can buy anywhere now, in a big tub. And again, it's very economical. I think if you want to make soap, you can still make it with food-based ingredients. Some people specialize in unscented soap, and again, you could buy all of this on food stamps except for the lye, and
Mm,
that's like $15. So yeah, it is that easy.
wow. All right. So if that wasn't free game for y'all, I don't know what. I
You want to
don't
wrap
know.
your soap? Head to the dollar store for some tissue paper and some ribbon.
Mm, okay. Well, can't say we didn't tell you so. So now that you have this business, right?
Yeah,
You have been, you said 8 years,
yeah.
right? So what has your ebbs and flows have been for your business? So you started, it took, you said 2 years in order for you to actually have the product go to public. Did you start making money that year?
No, the first year I was really learning. I was making a lot of test batches,
Hmm.
but what I was doing was market testing.
Mm,
I was giving it to my, at this point I had a job again. So my coworkers were like my test group, and I was making products. I was testing out custom formulations, making so many different kinds of soap, and then really kind of zeroing in on the ones that people like the most. So the first soap that I really developed was charcoal soap,
mm.
and it's still my number one bestseller out of my entire line. It's still, if people buy one thing, they buy that one. So, but yeah, I would say probably I wasn't confident enough to sell yet, if that makes sense. And it wasn't, I'm a marketer by trade, right? So I think probably it took me longer to get to market than other people because I kept thinking about the corporate mindset. I had to have the brand, I had to have this, I had to have that. And, the cost to develop those things 8 years ago was high. I probably spent, I want to say probably 5,000 in graphic designers over time. Every year I would do something and it would cost me a lot. So my strategy for building this business is, because first I knew I was not going to get business loan. So I would work temporary jobs, and I would work for 9 months and be off for 3 months. And in that 3 months, I would do packaging, or
Mm.
I would do some kind of project. And then I would go back to work for a year, and then I would be off for 6 months. So then I would do the brand work, and then I would go back to work. So that's how I balanced it. I would take a contract role, stack cash, put money aside for the business, and then while I was looking for a new job, then I would spend the majority of my days really, really working on the brand.
So thank you for sharing that. So it's interesting that that you are mentioning that through your process, you are of entrepreneurship, that you did have to go back to work.
Yes.
And for those who feel like that this journey of entrepreneurship, as I mentioned, it is not for the faint of heart. You cannot be a punk and be an entrepreneur. It's just not going to work. And there are times that you have to figure out how you're going to eat, right?
Yes, you got to eat. And you know that's the other thing. It's like when I said earlier, don't, you can't quit your day job. Now the way I did it was unique, but it had its drawbacks, because even though I had the education, I wasn't able to climb up in the corporate world
Mm,
because I was always switching jobs, right? But my business, on the other hand, wasn't able to rise quickly because every time I went back to work, I couldn't devote the time and energy.
mm,
So it every time I would build up kind of this buzz, and then it would dwindle again because I was working full time. So you really have to balance, even now I'm balancing of when that time is to kind of take off. And I actually just started another contract job last week. And this is my ninth day. And I'm like, man, I'm back here again.
mm.
But I come armed with the knowledge that this time I cannot die. And, even this morning I woke up and I was like, you got to get up. I'm like, you signed up for this. You know what's going to take. Like, get up. And yeah.
So let's talk about that, because like the thing that um you know now I have the courage to really reach out to other entrepreneurs instead of trying to do this thing all by myself, right? For real. Like this is a for
Mhm.
real thing for me because um at first I wasn't trusting, about sharing my experience or letting people in. And some days it is really tough, right? It's mentally, it weighs mentally on you because you talked about a couple of things. Your courage to be able to do this, like your self-belief in yourself. But then there are days like I don't really want to talk to nobody today. So I clear my calendar because I'm not having, it's a mental thing. It, it's
Mhm.
it's it's mental. So what are some of the things that you do? Right? Even though you're in between, you're still an entrepreneur, but you still have to work. Like what do you do to help to combat those days when you ain't really feeling none of it? None is none of.
Let me see. Well, there was, the thing about being an entrepreneur is that most of the time it's only you, right? So if something doesn't happen, it's because you didn't do it. And I'm still trying to master this part. Uh, what do I do? Like I said, this morning I told myself, get up. You signed up for this. You knew you would be tired. Get up, right? Other times I'm like, today I'm not going to do anything. I know I should, but I need a break. And I will just make myself something to eat, sit up on the couch, watch Tiny House Nation, dream of dream of the future. And sometimes you have to, but you got to make sure that the days that you get up are not more than the days that you're Netflixing.
Mm,
I will say that there was a period I went through a very, very, very difficult time a few years ago, and my business stopped for 18 months. I went through very deep depression. I could not get out of bed for like months, and it didn't work. And you know, I think you're gonna go through something along this journey. Something's gonna happen, and you know you won't be able to move. You won't be able to do it, and that's okay. Because once you get to the other side of that, when you eventually emerge, you are gonna be more aware and more determined that okay, I'm back at it, and you can keep going.
yeah. So your self-care is pretty much going internal and finding things that really help to
Mhm.
get you over, whether it's watching TV or not, simply not doing anything at all.
Yeah,
And that's okay. Like we have to recognize that in full agreement with you that those are the things that happen.
yeah.
And I'll add, just now that I have the courage to reach out, and it's even if it's just a text, be like, listen, like I don't know what to do with this client. Have you experienced this? And not
Mhm.
feel any type of judgment or, feeling any type of um at a loss that we can't reach out to one another. So I me personally have now started to ask for support, whereas before I would.
Yeah, that's true because I never asked for help. And, I think this past year in 2020, when we're all in a pandemic, I think that changed me where I was forced to reach out to people that I had never met before. I've connected to so many people online. And in a weird backward way, the pandemic was actually a blessing because it brought us back to ourselves.
Mm.
Like you had nowhere to go. Everything was closed. Everybody was on a collective timeout in the corner.
Right, right. We all was on punishment. That's what
Yes,
we were
everybody. So we had to think to ourselves, okay, what am I really going to do? You see, millions of people are leaving the workforce
on.
because they realized that they didn't want to do it and they weren't happy. And it was just like a breath of relief, right? But also in that, the online exploded and I gained this community of women who were doing the same thing I was doing. I would have never found them had it not happened where we had to go virtual. And in that, like where you say reaching out for help, you build this, whether it's like Instagram has been a fantastic connector of people, you know, and more positive people, and people that are actually doing and constantly showing up. And the relationships I've built online have really helped push me over into that energy field of action. You
Mhm.
know, I think the pandemic, for me personally, it changed my energy into a positive space. And I had gotten a scholarship to a program called Self Made, run by a VC called Britt Morin. She also has a website called Brit and Co. They
Mhm.
give scholarships to 200 women of color every 3 times a year to the program, and it was their first class, and I got in, and
Yay.
it was transformative.
Mhm.
I gained real friends, people that now I've met in real life, people that live in New York, but across the country. And it shifted my energy into positivity. From then, things just started rolling. Um, I got advice. I didn't get money right away, but I got some advice. I got encouragement, and I had people to guide me along the way to help me to go where I was supposed to go. And so, coupled with all of the incremental work I had done over the years, to that energy shift, and then finally in year like 9, 8, now things are starting to move.
That's encouraging. That's really encouraging because there's some things that I'm gathering from your story is that you've been really consistent. Even through your flows and your stop and go, you've been really consistent and working on this business. And the truth is you really haven't given up. You really have not.
No,
Mm-mm.
I haven't given up, but I don't know how consistent I am, right? So I haven't posted on Instagram in weeks. Like, you know, I like you want to be consistent. Some people show up every day and they're great at it. And there's something I noticed, is that those people that show up every day, it takes about 3 years for their business to blow up, and then they kind of mushroom. I've noticed that in about 4 or 5 different handmade makers.
Mm,
One of them is Donata Skin Food. I don't know if you've heard of her.
mm-mm.
She started out of her kitchen, same like me. We started a business right around the same time, and she was very consistent. She's every day. This woman is every day on Instagram. She was putting out YouTube videos when nobody was watching, and just all of a sudden, I think she had posted her earnings. One year, she made like 13 sales. She was making like a few $100s. The next year, she made like 40,000 in the year. The year after that, she made like 400,000, and the year after that, she made $1 million. Last year by December 1st. This year, I'm sure she's on track for 2 million, and she is very open about her journey. But it takes showing up every single day. So when you do have those ebbs and flows, realize that um, you'll get there, but it's going to take longer. But if you really want that real success, show up every day for about 3 years, and it'll happen.
So may I offer something that I believe that you still are showing up in your business, even though you may not be on Instagram as active. And the reason why I am encouraging you to say that is because, think about it. There are some things that we don't have to always be online in order to say that we are doing things on our business. I
True.
think that I share that kind of concern.
Mhm.
I'm a business coach. I am, a facilitator for entrepreneurship for young people, workplace development. But I'm also certified with the city and state as a minority women business enterprise. And I have to tell you that there were times I'm not on Instagram because I'm working on projects
Mm-hmm.
from the certification. So your business, if you have a diverse stream of income coming in from, whatever it is, IG may not be, it, but there are things that you're doing in your business, but also encouraging you to use systems, right? So we were talking about Canva earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Canva has, you know, unfortunately, we remember other days when we were using other platforms outside of Canva or
Kind of
Photoshop.
the best thing that was ever invented. The
So
best.
yeah, they have content. You can schedule content now,
Yeah.
and it
Yes.
makes it utilizing these systems to kind of help ease our concerns about showing up on a digital space, looking and analyzing, whether our presence on Instagram is really converting to sales or what does that look like. It's a
Mhm.
whole system, but I definitely want to share. Please don't be, so you're doing work. You're doing
Yes.
work in your business. And even though we may not be showing up all the time on those platforms. So I'm encouraging you to say, yeah, you working. You
Okay, I'm working. You know what? I'll take that.
you
And what I will say is that these platforms now, it's important that you show up, right?
Mhm.
But these platforms do not translate into sales. Let me
Mm,
make that clear.
yep.
Followers are not buyers. Okay. What you need to do is convert those followers to email subscribers that you can market to.
Yep.
But the thing I will say about Instagram is that when people look at it, so for me, when I'm applying to a wholesale account, or I want to apply to a business grant, right now, Black women are hot. Finally, we always been here. We've been holding on to everything, holding up everything. Okay. We're finally hot and we're finally getting money. They use Instagram as the proof point, right? Even though it doesn't mean anything for money, but it's just a proof point. So in that way, it's like you said, it's a component. It's not the most important thing, but I've had people tell me that my imagery wasn't nice enough. My product is amazing. I will go head to head with anybody on the product. But
Mm,
2 years ago, my images weren't enough. I said, okay. So I found a photographer. I did better images. But again, those thousands of followers don't buy from me. Not really.
mm,
The people that buy from me are the people I see face to face. And, at the markets, you have to go out and meet people. Um, those are really the people that are your purchasers. And so from that, you can build word of mouth, you can remarket to the same people. Um, you can do all kinds of things. So for instance, right now I'm doing a Instagram contest.
mm,
It's a giveaway. I paid. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna tell everybody all the prices, so y'all really know. I paid $297 for a contest.
mm.
Someone reached out to me, and it is a giveaway. I gifted 3 of my products, so that cost me cost of goods sold. What the product cost me plus packaging,
Okay.
and they will provide me a mailing list of whoever opts in from that. So in the past 2 weeks, I have picked up 1,400 followers.
Wow.
So out of now, and remember, what's today? Today is October
28.
28th,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I signed up in July. So the way I timed it, I'm going to pick up all these followers, right? Portion of them, let's say 500 of them, will come to me in a mailing list that they're going to be offering me as part of the deal. And that mailing list is really why I paid the $297. Why? Because Black Friday is coming up and I'm going to market to those people. So you have to like kind of think about the opportunities. And, you know, again, it's just a proof point. Yeah, I needed my follower count to go up so that now when I go out to the markets in the holiday, people are right there on their phone. They see my products, they like it, you know, and then they're like, oh, do you have Instagram? Because Instagram is a new business card, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And when they go and they see the 4,000 followers, they're like, oh, you get clout. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it might be worth something. And then they buy. At point of sale, like I said, I'm telling you everything I'm doing straight up. At point of sale, they're like, oh, your price is a little high. Yes, my price is a price, but if you sign up for my mailing list, I'll give you 10% off.
Yep,
okay.
the cost.
I get my money. I get their email. I will market to them later, hit them with that sale, hit them with holidays, all through the holidays. And that's how you do it but you got to do it year after year. And but in person is the way to go if you want to get consistent. People that have already purchased your product are more likely to purchase your product. I've noticed that once people buy one thing, my purchasers kind of happen like they'll buy then they'll have like 2 or 3 quick purchases because now they try the first thing and they're like, okay, well, let me try this next one. Is it good? Oh, okay, I like it. Okay, let me buy one more time. And then during the holidays, they'll start to buy. And that's really the list that you want. You want the people that have already tried your product, and you want to keep marketing to those people. I know that was long-winded. Did I answer your question?
It's how we learn from each other. Because I was actually going to follow up. So you mentioned, so you have to do like, I guess like pop-ups or fairs. That's where you said the in-person, exchange, and to be able to sell yourself differently. Like, how do you find the ones that will yield either new customers, different sales? How do you yourself market for how do you find them? That's essentially what I want to know.
Okay, so because my product is handmade, you have to kind of know who you're looking for. Like who do you want to buy these products, right? And you have to know yourself. Okay, the rule number 1, please, you got to be nice. You have to be nice. You have to be welcoming. You have to be willing to answer questions, and you've got to be willing to ask questions. Now, so you can determine what's right for you. And also in the booth, you have to, so you can find your customers. So the way I actually find them is I look at the internet. I mean, I search, first of all, I ask people. I look for makers markets, weekend markets, festivals, all over. You'll find them in every town. I started in the very beginning. I started doing the ones at like, the local high school had a something night, and I would pay $50 for a table. And then I remember the first one I did was in Hoboken, and I was on the street in Hoboken. It was like it was the Hoboken Green Fair. And I made that first day, I made $120. I paid $50 for a table. I made $120, but I was so happy. Now I feel like I'm gonna cry talking about it. Someone actually paid me $10 for a bar soap. Wow, that I made. Are you like really? A cream. I remember I made this cream, and this woman came to me. It was on a Saturday and a Sunday. And the next day, she came back and said, I can't believe it. My son has terrible eczema. I put this on him yesterday, and he didn't itch all night, and he slept through the night. I cannot believe it. She bought the rest of the cream that I had.
Oh, wow.
And it's just, it just gives you this like this feeling like of accomplishment that you made an actual difference. Like you literally changed this 8-year-old little boy's life with his little chubby face. Like he was like his arms are all red. I remember him, a cute little boy with curly hair. And literally she came back to me the very next day and was like, okay, do you have any more of that? I'm going to take them. Because it worked, you know. And like I said, it's asking questions, you know. Had I not asked her about him, had I not asked about skin conditions, had I not educated her about what the products could do for her, you know, shea butter, what was in the products, how I made them, you know, she might not have chosen it and it might not have helped him, you know. So like I said, but the number one thing, Black people, we have to learn how to be really nice to each other. You know, one thing, like I'm telling you all my secrets, but you know, it's like you know, people are like, why are you smiling so much? Why is she so, you know, why is she so happy? You know, like people are just like, no, you have to be really happy because you know, people are attracted to that. Again, it's an energetic thing. You have to be happy to be there. You have to be welcoming. You have to talk to people. You got to speak. You got to bring people in. You know, you have to be excited about what you're doing because that is when you're excited, people are drawn to you. They want to know what you have because they want to be like you. They want to be happy too.
Right.
So when you are in that space, then the people come to you. This crazy thing is that when I make products, I have to be really in a good mood. I have to be playing music. I have to be something because otherwise it gets ruined. My soap blows up or something happens and it doesn't work. You know, so that's my secret. Just
So
happy.
I have a couple of curious questions and looking at your brand, looking at the colors. Like, how did you come up with like the name? And you know, logo, because orange is my favorite color. And it's probably not orange, it's probably on the orange in the orange family, but anything that's around that orangey makes me happy. So I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. How did you come up with the name?
Okay, so this is a great story. So the name, I was, like I said, I was making products for 2 years, right? And so I was kind of thinking of a name, and I had this Aunt Cecile. My Aunt Cecile was a lover of all things beautiful. She was like, you would go to her house for Thanksgiving, and the table, she would have this beautiful turkey, and it would be like a gold tablecloth with purple napkins, with the gold napkin ring, and the plates stacked up like white plates with the gold rims, and centerpieces, and like goblets and glasses, like beautiful. Christmas tree was like 12 feet high, white Christmas tree with the bulbs and gifts piled up. Like she was that kind of woman, always beautifully dressed. But don't come through if you don't look good. Don't come if your hair is a mess. She's gonna be like, why are you looking like that? Or she'll look at you and be like, are you eating that? Are you you know, are you wearing that? And so I know she had it. We'll say she was the queen of shade. She was 90 years old when she passed. God bless her. In her wheelchair, throwing shade, giving people the side eye, right? So I said to myself, I said, all right, people are telling me this product is good, but are they just being nice to me? Like, you know, people want to encourage you, right? So I said, all right, I'm going to send it to her because I know if it's not good, she's going to tell me straight up. And when she absolutely loved all the products, I named the company after her because that is a standard I want. That is like, if it wouldn't pass her high standards, then don't bother. So yeah. And the color orange, I really like orange. I was working for a company and their colors were orange. I always liked it. And then when I looked it up, I think orange means that you're brave, intrepid. It kind of says a lot of energy. So it was bright and it was colorful, and so that's why I chose it. But yeah.
No, it's great. It's great. So we are coming up on our hour, and I wanted to just have you think about, because you have a lot more to offer. That's why we're going to have you come back
Yay!
to engage this conversation, because there's so much more
Let's do it.
to what you are offering with your products and services. But I'm sure that we will probably have to spend another session just talking about really how you select your ingredients, like what the packaging, like all those things could be unpacked. So I think that you got to come back. But before we let you go, right? For someone who is really interested, like you gave some wonderful tips and pretty much kind of minimize a lot of the excuses that sometimes may come up because I ain't got the money, that like all type of stuff that come up, right?
Hmm.
What are three things that you can offer? If someone wanted to immediately start, thinking about, going into a product, like offering a product, what would you offer them? Just three things.
You think a Bath and Body product or any product?
No, bath and body products specifically.
Mm, what would what the tools they need?
Mhm.
Okay, so I mean, like I said, barrier to entry is very low.
Mhm.
Get Canva free, number one. Um, learn about learn about the ingredients. Really research. Get, for instance, okay, I have a couple of books here. So I got this book on the clearance rack
Mhm.
at
Oh,
it's pretty thick. I got in the clearance rack for $10 at the bookstore. Get yourself a book on essential oils. Second one, again, was $10, same clearance rack, a book of starter recipes.
mm,
So what I do is I have a book like this. I look at all the recipes, what they're supposed to do, and I'm like, okay, I like it. I'll do that first recipe, and then I'll adjust the recipe and switch out the ingredients to start formulating. So let's see. Get Canva to design your logo and all the things. Get some books, and the third thing, I would say, be careful who you share your dreams with,
facts. Facts all the way.
because there's some dream killers out there. And yeah, sometimes keeping things to yourself is the best way. You can have a hobby, you can be like, oh, I'm making this, whatever, but don't reveal all your plans. The best thing to do is, after you have done the thing, tell people about it, but not before.
So you gotta protect your intellectual property. I don't care what nobody
Yep.
say.
Mm-hmm.
Too many dream thieves. That's what I call them. Dream thieves.
Yep.
Y'all heard me. Dream thieves.
No, it's the truth, because you know the thing is that people people are invested in you staying the same.
Mm,
If you change, who are they, right? It's and it's you are somebody's brother, sister, daughter, best friend, whatever, and the relationship is comfortable. But once you start becoming an entrepreneur and doing your own thing, you're not going to have time for them. You might not have time to fill in for them, babysit, listen to their problems, or, just hang out, go out. You're not going to have money to go out to eat every weekend. Your things will have to change. So it's, for them, it's comfortable. They That's their life. But if you want to change your life, then you have to change. And sometimes that means limiting what you used to do to do what you're going to do.
So we're coming up on a new year, 2022. It's like hard to believe. Like for real, it's very, very hard to believe. Any words of aspirations, thoughts that you want to give, to those who, maybe deciding to jump 2022 this my year. What's your thoughts about that? Some good old good juicy words of encouragement.
Oh boy. Uh, Juicy words of encouragement. Get up. Get up. You signed up for this. Okay? It's what I'm telling myself. You know it's going to be hard. You can do it. Just you have to talk to yourself. You have to encourage yourself. You have to find a way and really just overcome that tendency to procrastinate,
Hmm.
the tendency to kind of stay in that resting state. Um, but 2022 is about to be a good year. We are all, like I said, we are hot. Now is the best time has ever been to be Black. Okay, minority, gay, lesbian, transgender. This is the time. If you were different, if you were the other before, they're finally realizing we here. Money is flowing. Okay, YouTube will teach you everything you need to know. Well,
Mhm.
not everything, but it'll get you going. Put together some kind of pitch deck, jump into Canva, get this tons of, of PowerPoints. You can put your whole brand together in Canva for free, and it's already done for you. So there, you have no excuse, and it's just how bad do you want it? Are you willing to get up every day? And the one thing I will say, I will offer to your followers or your watchers. So let's pick a date, and I have a 1 hour workshop, maybe 90-minute workshop that I wrote and that I taught of how to start your own bath and body company. So we will put together a date, and I will teach it for you for free.
You know what? See, mm, mm,
I will give you all the tips. And I am really thinking of teaching more and more. And so you will be my first. Well, I've taught the workshop twice, so my third. But we will we will do a workshop, and let's pick a date.
and let's pick a date. So listen, I always say, I'm in full gratitude when folks want to come talk to Anita from Brownsville. I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn, all day.
Okay.
So I tell folks that when you have folks that are willing to share their gifts and talents, not the fun, not I don't take that lightly. So we're gonna have to figure out some other things, not just to have it done completely for free, but that
Okay.
we have to figure out how to do some other things together. But in the interim, where could we find you?
Well, you can find me online at cecilesbathandbody.net. You can find me on Instagram at Cecile's Bath and Body, all spelled out. It's CECILES, Bath and Body. And you can always hit me up on my email, very accessible, info at cecilesbathandbody.net.
And so you see it scrolling down at the bottom. Please make sure you take advantage of joining Jackie's list. We know that Black Friday is coming up. Please make sure that you are supporting, absolutely supporting Black owned businesses. It is, since, it is actually imperative that we do so, since we give the opportunity to the larger big box institutions such as Walmart, Target, all those folks, and we give them chance and chance, and we stand online, make
Mm-hmm.
sure that, the inboxes and that the orders are filled specifically with those organizations that do well and take pride in creating generational wealth and also just fulfilling their own dreams and beliefs. I have this thing that I keep. I actually bought it from Dollar Tree, so it's funny that you mentioned Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree got some things that I keep me motivated, right? So this one here, it's always hard to see. It says trust
Yes, I love it.
you, right? I
That's
keep it
right.
here in front of my face because these are things that, at eyesight, when we be having those days, when I be having those days, when I be having those days, that reminds me, right, that we all have gifts and that internally that I believe in God and that he created us to be really dope human beings. We just have to have the courage to have the faith to trust and believe what he has imparted into us.
Amen.
So even though I have those days where I want to curl up and there are days when I do lay down and I do clear schedule, one, maybe because I'm not physically feeling well, or maybe it's mentally not feeling well. But I know for sure that if I keep my faith in what was given and ingrained in my soul, that it's going to work out. It don't have any other option to do so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It take even if you stop for 18 months, you can start again.
Mhm.
You can.
And
So
so, on that note, Jackie, thank
you're
you
so
so much.
welcome.
Thank you so
Such a
much.
pleasure.
So much. I am so glad that we did follow up and we did kind of like figure out, oh, this is what I'm doing. And so I am looking forward to having more of Jackie discussing products and discussing a little deepening of your products that you do offer. And since we have an offer, we definitely want to follow up with you to make sure that we honor your word and I honor my word because it is on video. So we try to
Okay.
make sure we keep that going.
Can't take
But
it
on
back
that
now.
note, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. And I'm going to close out the show with some more tips, but I'll see you again, Jackie. Bye
Okay. See you soon.
bye. So, isn't that amazing? Black women are awesome. Awesome. But I want to, close out the show because, if you've been watching me, I always tell you there's always free things out there for you to take advantage of. Jackie gave us free game today. For those who are on public assistance, there's a way. When you have a will, there's always a way. But I'm going to add into the free stuff. So, yeah, I know I'm from Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn. There are chambers of commerce all over, from Brooklyn, to Manhattan, Queens, all over, upstate. They all have built into their model services that they offer for small businesses. I'm from Brooklyn, so I always want to shout out the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce. They have tons of resources available, some for free and some are member based. The New York City Small Business Resource Network, they have one-to-one services. They provide websites, opportunity to connect with lawyers. They have, grant services. They also have, connecting mentors. They have a lot of things. And guess what? Is for free. So you can't say that you can't take advantage of that stuff because it is available for you for free. If you want it, it's out there. So check out the link at NYC Small Business Resource Network.org. So now, I know where to find some of this money. There are still grants available between $5,000 and $25,000 that are eligible through the Empire State Development COVID-19 Pandemic Small Business Recovery Grant. This is at nysmallbusinessresourcerecovery.com. Now, I'm gonna get a little close to the camera because you know what I'm gonna say. These grants are available, right? If you have been in business and if you filed your taxes and if you have a separate business account and if you have, your actual business structure, LLC, sole proprietor, S corp, those are the things that are needed in order to file for these grants. I'm not going to tell you a story and say that yes, you could just get the grant, blah, blah, blah. That's not the case. You actually have to have a business structure available in order to be able to take advantage of these grants. So please get your file together, get your file together, get your file together. Make sure that you can recycle this information because there are still going to be more grants available in order for you to be able to apply for it. So that is one. The other thing is you have a couple of other grants through LegalZoom. So a lot of us use LegalZoom in order to start their information. Okay. LegalZoom. LegalZoom.com has fast breaks for small businesses, right? And so this is something where they do have access for resources, financial resources, upwards to $10 or $25,000. But also, what they are combining as an ongoing resource is that if you need to have like a legal connect to help with doing your business structure, a lot of us use LegalZoom. Make sure you get that plug. This is LegalZoom.com, fast break for small businesses. Now, the other thing is the NAACP.org has a list of resources. NAACP.org, find resources grants, right? And so, as Jackie mentioned, they most are figuring out what we've been knowing all along. I think that we now have the courage to kind of, use social media as our way to be like, we hot, we've been hot, and y'all just now figuring it out. But these are resources. These are just a little bit of the resources that exist out there for free. So now, finally, you know, never ashamed to do this. So, as a part of who I am, right? I am a business coach, right? And so, I am fee for service. However, what I do recognize is that a lot of us that are just starting cannot afford my fees. So, guess what? I started just like probably most of you started, finding resources, taking advantage of it, bringing my kid to the classes, all of that stuff exists. So if you're looking for a really dope coach, right, and you cannot afford my services, I'm totally okay with that, right? Because we all got a starting point. Book me through SCORE. SCORE is funded by the SBA, which is federally funded. I do volunteer my time on Fridays for now to help us grow and scale our businesses. I deal a lot with fundamentals. I'm based out of New York, so I deal with the structure and the laws that are based in New York. I do have knowledge base about the other, the tri-state and what things look across the landscape, but I for sure will help you with your fundamentals. So please do not hesitate to book those free resources. It is through SCORE. Don't hesitate. You getting me either way. I'm still dope, whether you pay me or not. But this is preferred, right? And some people were like, oh, you're not, getting money from your clients. But I have a diverse stream of income for my personal business. So I choose as a coach to be able to offer my services through this vehicle. So now I have to tell you that as of now, I'm only doing SCORE for free on Fridays. So don't get mad at me when you can't book me. I'm telling you to book me, and you can book me here, and I will help and support you. So, on that note, I want to thank you all. And I want to thank my guest, Jackie, because she is amazing. And I'm looking forward to having her come back on to get more deep into, what it looks like to go into this business of beauty. This is some good stuff, right? Some really good stuff. So stay tuned, stay locked. Thank you for joining the real journey of the entrepreneur. I will talk to you again. Bye bye.